Hi guys, this is Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm making my first Halloween cards for 2020. I pulled out my Mr. Bones stamp set from Tim Holtz and did some stamping using my stamp platform and some Distress and Oxide inks. Oh, and I'm doing a watercolor technique, so I'm going to be using watercolor paper and my Distress sprayer. To start off, I'll first ink up the stamp with some black soot, and then give that a spray or two of water. Then I'll stamp it onto the watercolor panel that's in my stamp platform. Then, after cleaning off the stamp, I take Distress ink or Distress Oxide ink, I really like the Oxide, in another color and ink it up again. This time I'm going to give it plenty of water, usually 3 sprays will do it, and then stamp that one down. I like the Oxide the best because of the way it lays on top of the black. It's opaque in some areas where the ink was thicker and more translucent in some of the others. I really love this watercolor look, especially since the black makes it look, a bit creepy. I stamped a bunch of these out and then cut them out using my ScanNCut. Now let's work on the backgrounds. I'm taking the same inks and doing some ink smooshing. I don't do this much because of the mess, but I'm trying to push myself past that. Some of the best techniques are the ones that are messy, so wish me luck. So I'm just going to be smooshing some of this ink down on a piece of plastic and then spraying that with my Distress sprayer. Since I want the colors to run together, I picked up the plastic and then, kind of let gravity do its thing. I also am adding a bit more of the ink a little closer together. And now I'm going to just press my watercolor paper down into that ink. So this is the time to play and experiment. Just keep repeating the process until you get the look you want. Now we'll cut the panels down. I started off with pieces of watercolor paper that were 7.5 by 5.5, so I can get 2 backgrounds from each of those. I'm stamping a branch on each of the backgrounds in Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I think this causes the smushed background to look like the perfect stormy sky. Now I'll trim these panels down. I wanted to do a double matting with some brown and black cardstock because I just love how the sample one turned out. However, I messed up these panels. I didn't cut them quite right. So I'm going to give you guys the correct measurements in case you want to make your own. To adhere the watercolor panel down, I'm using some tear tape since it's a bit stronger than my regular dot liner and the panels are a little bit warped. Then I'm trimming the mat to about 1/8 of an inch. I'll add that to a black cardstock panel using my dot liner adhesive. Now this is where I realized that something's wrong and my measurements aren't quite right. There just isn't enough of a black border. Of course, I thought this was due to the black cardstock being the wrong size, so I just went with it. So now I'm going to use, for the first time, a trick that I saw on Kathy Zilski's channel, using your scoreboard to line up your panels when you're adhering them. Now this helps you make sure that they are straight and lined up right on the edge. And this worked great since I won't be having a matted edge on the sides like I had planned. Sometimes I need to trim the card base to match the panel. Now this is great for when I've cut the panel just a little too small or the card base just a little too big. Now for the sentiment. I'm adding Happy Halloween in the lower left hand corner of each of the cards in Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I had so much fun playing with these techniques that I've got a lot of skulls to choose from. Once I pick the right one for the background, I'll add some foam tape and adhere it down. Here's a quick look at the cards that I made today using faux watercolor stamping and ink smooshing. I hope that this video has inspired you to get started on your Halloween crafting and use some of those stamps that haven't seen any action since last year. I'd love to see what you create, so come join my Facebook group, Crafting with Debbie, and show us your creations. I've left a link down in the description below. To see all of my Halloween videos for 2020, check out #DJCC Halloween 2020. Today's video was just the first, but there will be a bunch more for you to see. Here are some other videos that you may be interested in. Thank you so much for dropping by, and remember, if I can make it, you can too.